And hello, this is Zack Kennedy, and you are listening to Around the Arena. We are back. So this week we are going to be talking about, in our segment, the softball team. So last week we did baseball, and anybody that listened previously, if you haven't, obviously go check it out. If you did listen, you must have heard that I did play for the baseball team just freshman year, did not play after that. And I got to hear some nice words from J.R. Gifford, their catcher now for the baseball team. And the team actually had an amazing week right after we did the podcast. The first game against Salem, they won 32-3. Yes, you heard that right. 32-3. An absolutely impressive win for a very talented baseball team, obviously here at Westchester University. So we're going to segue to now the softball team. I was thinking about doing softball and baseball together, but I wanted to give each sport their own show, really focus on the rosters, the coaching staff, the schedule, etc. So let's start off with the softball roster here for the 2023 team. So in the outfield, we have Sierra Marsteller. Pitching, we have Antonia Browning. In the infield, we have Caitlin Rittenball. Also in the infield, we have Kayla Fitzpatrick. Another pitcher, we have Mary Picazzi. In the infield as well, Gia Borelli. In the outfield, Sid Kaidesh. Right-handed pitcher, Samantha Klug. In the outfield, we have Haley Melvin. At catcher, Haley Karcher. Also at catcher, Abigail Quinn. In the infield, we have Olivia Mock. As a pitcher and a utility player, and for those who don't know what a utility player is, utility basically means this person's versatile enough to play infield, outfield if needed, can really play anywhere on the field, anywhere in the lineup. It's really key tool to have on your softball or baseball team, a utility player. So that's Mackenzie Edwards, pitcher and utility player. Casey Best, also a utility player and catcher. In the infield, we have Avery Sickery. In the outfield, we have Brittany Lally. Pitching and utility, we have Danielle Siliberto. Another utility player, we have Meg Wolf. In the outfield, we have Madison Melvin. As another utility player, we have Grace Aguilar. Outfield, Frankie DeLeo. Also outfield, Married Hopkins. In the infield, Abigail Penjuk. Catcher, Sydney Campbell. Utility, Emma Zoldi. In the infield as well, Alexa Peterson. And right-handed pitcher, Anna Torrance. So, obviously, 31 players on this softball club, or around 30 players, and it's been a great start for this team. Before we get to the schedule and the matchups, let's just go through the coaching staff real quick. So, head coach, veteran Diane Loki, and assistant coach Laura Altenberger. And they both obviously been working with the Westchester softball team for some time now. Diane Loki is the head coach of this team. This is her 20th season as a Westchester head coach. Great to have veteran, experienced head coaches at this university, especially like Diane Loki, who can get this team on the right path quickly, get the freshmen in, get them experience. Obviously, the seniors will know Diane very well, and Coach Loki is loved at the Westchester Division II level. So now, as for their schedule this year, the softball team is 23-12. That's a 65.7% win percentage, which is absolutely outstanding. One key stat to look at is their home record, and it's 13-3. So they're 8-7 away, and then at neutral sites they are 2-2. But when this team plays at home, it's almost like they're unbeatable. They're 13-3, and they're also on a 2-game win streak right now, which is also great. So as for the recent games, they just played a game. It was only lasted 5 innings against Kutztown, and it was a doubleheader, which means they played a game at 1 o'clock on Friday and then 3 o'clock on Friday. This was at home, and we won the first game 1-0, which is great, and the second game 10-2. Really put up some runs on the board. Before that, we had a series with Shippensburg University, another doubleheader. Tuesday at 1 o'clock, Tuesday at 3 o'clock. First game we won 7-1, and then we went on to lose the second game, unfortunately 3-6. So, as for the month of April, April 3rd, we played Bloomsburg at Bloomsburg. It was another doubleheader, and that's usually how the softball series work. Pretty much doubleheaders all year long, just for traveling reasons, getting all the girls loose, getting games in, and they can play doubleheaders back-to-back days sometimes, which is even crazier because I know a lot of men's baseball teams don't do that. It's a lot on the guys' arms, and for these girls to be playing back-to-back days, 4 games in 2 days, it's really impressive. Absolutely, really impressive. And when they played Bloomsburg April 3rd and had that doubleheader, they won the first game 2-0, and then they won the second game 6-5. So in their last, I'm going to say 8 games, they've only lost 2 games. They're 6-2, which is really impressive. This softball club, and it's all leading from seniors, freshmen stepping up. Diane Loki obviously putting the people in the right places, creating a lineup. So experienced, so talented as a coach at Westchester. Obviously, a lot of respect to Diane Loki. She's a star. She's a veteran coach. And when you have veteran coaches, it makes a huge difference. Just speaking from experience, I've had some young coaches, and we would love the young coaches. They're really friendly. You know, some of them close at our age. When we were 18, they only been 24 years old or so. We had a lot of fun with them, but there are some flaws that happen of when to do certain things in certain games, and just how to run a ball club in general. Building a lineup, it's not as easy as it looks. It really isn't. So I just want to get into some of the statistics, and we're going to talk about batting average on the softball club. And we're going to go through the top 5 in batting average this year. So batting 500. Now, so for those who don't know what batting 500 means, it means that 50% of the time you are getting a hit, which are numbers you would not see at really any level, especially professionally. I think there's only been a handful of people in MLB history over the 120-year history that have ever batted over 400 in a season. So this tells you how impressive some of these girls are at the plate. So the first one is batting 500 this year. She's just 2 for 4. Or I'm sorry, she's just 1 for 2 on the year, but she's batting 500, and that's Sierra Marstella. She's got 4 runs scored. She has an RBI as well. That's really great to see. Now, as for Madison Melvin, she's batting 478, which is very impressive. 478. She's got 55 hits in 115 plate appearances, which is absolutely crazy to see. She also has 6 triples, which is just really not easy to do. Slugging percentage. So slugging percentage, it's your on base percentage, I believe, times your average, and they move them up. So another girl that's batting 382, her average is 382. It is Hallie Melvin, and in 102 plate appearances, she has 39 hits, 11 of those being doubles, 2 home runs to add to that, which is great. And speaking of home runs, let's talk about some home runs, some power hitting. And the power hitter for this ball club is Casey Best. 5 home runs and 14 RBIs to add to that. Her slugging percentage is .551, which is excellent at really any level. Division 1, 2, 3, professionally. It's really all great to see. This is a team to look out for. And then we'll talk about their future schedule, some of the games they have coming up. And maybe some of you guys can all get out to a game soon and see this ball club. So the next game is going to be tomorrow April 8th, and that is going to be on a Saturday. That is Shepherd University. It's another doubleheader. Like I said, for the softball club, it looks like all doubleheaders, which is, it can be a lot on girls' arms at the plate. Like I said, a lot of baseball teams, doubleheaders can really take out a team. It uses a lot of pitching, but these girls, they're playing doubleheaders all the time. It's really impressive. Very, very, very impressive. So they'll play Shepherd University, and that will be at Shepherdstown. That's in West Virginia. They will then come back, play Millersville on April 11th. That will also be a doubleheader. The next series will be at Lock Haven, doubleheader on April 14th. They then go to Mansfield. They play East Stroudsburg at home, then play Bloomsburg at home, go play at Kutztown. They play at Shippensburg, and then they'll play at home against Shepherd in the final outing, the final game of the year of the regular season, and then hopefully we can compete for a national championship. And that's something at Westchester we have seen is very, very relevant, is winning national championships at the Division II level. We've seen it with the baseball team. We've seen it with other programs. It's really fun to watch. As much as, there has been talks about moving Westchester to a Division I program, just based on the size of our university, the enrollment, and how talented these ball clubs are, how talented these other sports programs are, the coaching, the players, everything under the sun. One of the big parts of moving up to Division I is you're not going to be as competitive at first, and that's something players don't want. Some players would rather, have a really great season at the Division II level and compete for a national championship on the national stage. Whereas if you join the Division I level, you're likely going to go through some tough seasons. As much as it's Division I, as much as it's a great honor to be a part of that, it sometimes can take away schools from being as competitive. And I know if I was on the baseball team, I would much rather compete for a Division II national championship than if we were to go, 10-30 on the year record-wise in the Division I level, because we're facing teams that are absolutely, stacked with great talent from all over the country. So, and that's all we have for the softball club. Like I said, a lot of games coming up, always double headers. So usually 1 and 3 o'clock or 2 and 4 o'clock. Look forward to getting out to a game. This team is on fire right now. They've won 6 of their last 8, and they're ready to make some noise come later this year. And hopefully they can keep their 13-3 record going at home, which is another impressive stat, and then possibly make a run for the national championship. So that's going to do it for the softball club for Around the Arena. The next squads we are going to be talking about is the men's and women's rugby team. One of my most exciting podcasts is going to be this rugby one, just because I don't know much about the rugby team. I've heard of friends from high school that were on the rugby team. I knew my one friend Maddie was on the women's rugby team. I knew her for a few years now, and I never really got to listen to what the games are like, what the schedule is, practices. I never really got to hear about the rugby teams. I hear a lot about the basketball team, baseball, football, women's soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, etc. So getting to really research the rugby teams, dig in, and do a whole segment on the rugby women's and men's team should be very fun. I'll be explaining rosters. I'll be explaining upcoming games. As for what they're going to do in the off season and in season, and hopefully just bring more awareness to the rugby team, because I know, being a big sports fan here at Westchester, I haven't heard enough about the rugby team, and that's something I want to change for sure. I want to get the rugby rosters out there. I want to get the schedule out there. I just want to make sure they have the awareness that they deserve, and the schedule, so that us students can get out to some of these games, because I've seen rugby in person and it is intense. It is a really entertaining sport. So that's going to do it for Around the Arena. You are listening to Zack Kennedy, and I will see you next week when we talk about rugby. Thank you.